And now.
That's the middle shot. He scores! Slips it off to Wyatt Matthews. He's in! Eagles take the lead!
The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
Welcome to Sports Talk, the number one sports podcast in the Philadelphia area. Come on out here, Brodes. This episode of Sports Talk with Brodes is brought to you by Sports R Philly. Sports R Philly contains a wide variety of great blogs across the Philadelphia area. You can follow them on Twitter at Sports R Philly or check out their website, www.sportsrphilly.com.
Welcome, everybody, to Sports Talk with Brodes. Now, tonight is a little different. It is a late night for me. I am recording this late after the Monday night football game. I have an 8 a.m. class tomorrow. I don't know. I'm in the mood to record. I can't fall asleep, so I'm going to do it. Why not? Can't hurt. So, to know when I upload a new video to either my podcast or YouTube, follow me on Twitter at sportsandlbrodes. So simple to follow me. Make sure you do that. And you can also call into the show using your voice recording app on your phone and sending it to sportsandbrodes@gmail.com. And you can be featured in the podcast. Pretty much, essentially, it is like a voicemail box set up. And from there, you can leave your voicemail to me, and I can implement it into the show, which is great. So I'm going to kick things off, and I know the Monday Night Football game just happened, so why not talk about that real quick? It was a crazy game. A lot crazier than I thought. I cannot believe that the Redskins actually kept it to the extent that they did. Kirk Cousins played well late. Their receiver, Doxson, missed not a wide open, but totally dropped a football that was very catchable at the end of the game with under a minute left, which forced Washington to kick a field goal to tie the game at 20. Yes, that is right. I'm just making sure I got the scores right because some crazy stuff happened at the end. So, they dropped that pass late in the game. Have to kick a field goal, settle with it, and with about 49 seconds left, Alex Smith and the Kansas City Chiefs, who are the only undefeated team left in the NFL, march downfield, and they end up kicking a field goal to win it. Now, there was 4 seconds left when they kicked the field goal. Listen to this. This is why I don't bet. It's ridiculous. I'm not sure exactly what the spread was, but with 4 seconds left, Kirk Cousins, their final last play, obviously, is they're at their own 20. They throw it out to the side. He runs up a little bit, throws it backwards, and they just keep throwing it backwards until they try and get a miracle play. Well, they end up fumbling the football. It was atrocious play to watch, hysterical. And then Houston picks up the football and runs it in. So the final score was 29-20. The spread was somewhere in the line. When it was 23-20, the Redskins covered. But that touchdown at the end, the useless touchdown because of the miracle attempt, ended up costing the Redskins not to cover. Pretty much a bad beat on Scott Van Pelt show, late night on SportsCenter. I would be devastated. This is why I do not bet, because I believe that Vegas knows absolutely everything. It's crazy. Sometimes teams are up. Say original spread is 4 or 3. Easy with football, 3. Sometimes it'll be a blowout, 21-0 in the second quarter, and you're like, sheesh, I really shouldn't have bet this. You bet the other way to make sure you cover yourself, essentially, and what happens? They end up winning by 3, or covering, only losing by 2. It's crazy. And then I stick away because, you know what? You don't win. And that's just how it is. You do not win. Because if you did, a lot more people would do it, and they would be winning a lot of money. Yeah, you win sometimes, but the amount of money you put into it, you're not winning. So that's where I am with the Monday Night Football game. I am shocked that the Redskins kept it as it was, but I did not want to see them barge in there into Kansas City and win a football game. I did not want to see it, especially because the Eagles had to do that and they didn't get it done. So I definitely did not want to see the Redskins do that. I did actually have two more NFL topics before I move away from that. The Redskins tonight, they lost so many people on the defensive side. It was crazy. I've never seen anything like it. Josh Norman is now expected to be out weeks. And Derek Carr now is expected to be out 2 to 6 weeks. That's a big difference. 2 to 6. It's definitely not going to be on that 2-3 side. You just know it. We're talking about 6 games. Now I saw something. Do the Raiders go for Kaepernick? I don't know. Are they that desperate? I don't know their situation right now. If it is only going to be 2 to 3 weeks, is it worth it? Do they need to bring him in? It's something with his back, with that back problem. Rivers is complaining about the home field advantage. And if you're on YouTube, you see the air quotes. Listen, it's not anyone's fault but the city of San Diego that their fan base just didn't care enough to be able to actually hold down the fort in San Diego. So you got to move. I mean, who is the blame in this situation? Is it the fans of San Diego? Because that's really the only people I can think about to blame. You can't blame the people who are in the city you are now because they're not loving you. Or you can't blame the Philadelphia Eagles fans for caring enough to travel that far to see their boys play and win, if I may add. Now, I got a phone call regarding an NFL quarterback. And you know what? It's time to slip it on into the podcast. So, buddy, you are on Sports Talk with Brodes. Let me hear what you have.
Hey, Brodes. Bud from South Jersey. Just your thoughts on Jay Cutler. I just not impressed, man. This guy is an absolute bum. To think I drafted players on his team hoping he'd get me some points. Like, this guy needs to be out of the NFL. Last 2 weeks, he's been pitiful. Give me your thoughts, Brodes. Thanks.
Bud, that makes me laugh. Now, listen. I even said this when Tannehill went down. That Jay Cutler pickup wasn't good. And I had Dolphins fans tell me, oh, hey, we got Jay Cutler. Everything's going to be okay. Did you not see what the man did in Chicago? You're right. And it's funny. He's a bum. He stinks. I might rather have Matt Moore. And dare I say Colin Kaepernick? I mean, Jay Cutler stinks. It is equivalent to having a backup quarterback starting. There is a reason why things did not just work out in Chicago. It was actually really bad in Chicago, so I don't understand the thought process of actually thinking that this man would do a better job in Miami. I mean, you're talking about losing to the Jets and then that embarrassment that happened over in London. 2 bad weeks, and it doesn't look like it's any better, and he's not helping out your fantasy team. Now, your running back really has nothing to do with the quarterback, but to an extent, I mean, it goes hand in hand with each other. So, I mean, if you're throwing the football downfield, it opens up your running game a little bit more, and if you're running the ball well, I mean, it all does go hand in hand, so I might want to take back that statement, but I mean, he's a bum. You're right. And that's essentially where this is going. He is a really bad quarterback in this league. And speaking of the Chicago Bears, I know I said I only had a couple topics, but now I can just talk about the NFL for days because it is the best. But Trubisky is starting. They named him starting quarterback of the Bears after a pitiful performance on Thursday night by Glennon. I think he had 2 turnovers and 2 interceptions or something absolutely garbage to that extent. So it's time. it needs to happen, regardless of who they're playing next week. Actually, let me check, because I know what they said was they wanted him to start out his first game, with a defense that's not so ridiculous like the Green Bay Packers or anything to that extent. But I forget who they play next week. Real quick, just checking. They play the Vikings on Monday night. That is not an easy defense to just have your first NFL game against. It's not. So it's going to be a true test. And you know what? If he struggles, so be it. He needs to learn being out there. He saw the game for 4 weeks now on the sidelines. You never know what is going to happen. I'm interested, though, and that's the truth. That'll make the Monday night back-to-back, maybe great Monday night games. This tonight was a great Monday night game. It was way better than that Seattle Colts game, which I never really talked about. Forgot I didn't talk about it, because when I recorded my last episode, it was right before the game started, but it was an absolute blowout. Seattle's offense actually started looking somewhat normal again, getting back in the sync. Russell Wilson, it's looking like they had something this past week, but they were also playing a Colts team. And my last football thing, and I mean it this time, is Odell Beckham Jr. If you haven't seen this picture, it is absolutely gross. And his finger is dislocated. The ball's coming towards his finger is snapped absolutely back. And then on the sidelines, his coaching staff or his training staff is actually trying to get his finger back into place as he's jumping and squirming around. And it's disgusting. So I understand why, after seeing this picture, he was on the bench and had a problem with his finger. I saw something hilarious on Twitter, and it was like JPP is saying, "Man, that's nothing. Get back out on the field." So funny. Now, I'm in a predicament here. We are done with the NFL with today's episode, as of now. I have hockey news, basketball news, and some hockey. Or some baseball. Sheesh. Let's go with hoops, because I can do that. I'm a big fan of hoops. I put up a poll the other day, 2 days ago, and it asks, I had 99 votes on that bad boy. Very happy with that. Thank you all for responding. If you would like to vote on these polls, you can follow me on Twitter at sportsandbrodes, and I release them there. 99 votes. Who has the best chance to take down the Warriors? If you think it's a team not listed, comment below. 51% said the Cavaliers. Now, I will get to the Cavaliers. Celtics, 11%. Rockets, 6%. And a whopping 32% for the Thunder. And for comments, my girlfriend is a huge Steph Curry fan. I'm obviously a huge LeBron fan. She thinks she is funny, saying none of the above. They're unbeatable. End of conversation. Funny. And I also got one saying Sixers. Now, with the Cavs, let's go to the Cavs. Kevin Love is going to start at the 5 position this year. He will be playing center. Tristan Thompson agrees to go to the bench, and he says he will be shooting for the 6th man of the year. J.R. Smith is also coming off the bench. Now, one of the big things was their bench sucked last year. And without their starting players, they were trash, and they couldn't handle it. Now, I'm not saying this is it, and this is the absolute group of guys that can take down the Warriors. But what I am saying is they're making moves in the right directions to switch something up from the last 2 years, and I see it working out in a good direction. If you think about it, their bench sucked. Now they are making their bench stronger. I mean, they're obviously pursuing this in the right way. I don't know if this is enough to take it down, but I am actually really excited to see what this Cavaliers team has. Now, I am just thinking about their squad right now. We are talking Isaiah Thomas, D. Rose. What are we thinking? Jay Crowder at the 3, LeBron at the 4, Kevin Love at the 5. Something of that nature, but I'm just thinking about their bench. You got Derrick Rose. You have Tristan Thompson now coming off the bench. Now, the only thing with him is he brings a dominant presence down low. He's not a big-time scorer, but he's obviously a huge advantage to what is coming off the bench. I'm just excited to see that team. That's the truth. I am very excited to see that team. I believe that D. Wade is going to be re-energized this year, a whole different player, because of LeBron James. He's hyped to play with the man. They are boys. They're like two little kids, just best friends that love balling together, and I believe that he is going to have, the way that is, have a whole different side of him this upcoming year, and it's going to be very exciting. Now, one of the things that shocked me about my poll that I put up was 32% of you guys think that the Thunder have a good chance. I like what the Thunder put together. I just don't know if that is even enough to contend. I just don't. It's going to be interesting. Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I'm not giving them enough credit, but are they going to be enough to take down the Warriors? And if they do take down the Warriors, Cavaliers team will demolish a Carmelo Anthony, Paul George, Russell Westbrook trio. You think LeBron James is going to lose to those three? Paul George is a superstar and all, but is he on the level of LeBron James? The only person I would love to see in a finals out of those three, I mean, I would love to see all three of them, obviously, but something about Russell Westbrook in a final? I mean, come on. That would be really cool to see. LeBron James, though, D. Wade, champions, I don't know. I just don't know if that is enough to let alone take down the Warriors. I'm getting ahead of myself saying the Cavs too, but to take down the Warriors, I just don't see it. There was actually a deal that went down with Carmelo Anthony that was set with Houston and the Cavaliers, but they both fell through late on draft night. Could you imagine a Cleveland Cavaliers squad with Isaiah, D. Rose coming off the bench, a D. Wade starting with a Carmelo and LeBron and Kevin Love? Now that would have been awesome to see. But you know what? It only spreads out the superstars a little bit more, and you can't complain about that in the NBA. You definitely cannot. Russell Westbrook just signed a 5-year, $205 million contract extension, and Paul George was stated saying he is very excited about that, and that will definitely play a factor for the future of his free agency in the upcoming offseason. People think that he is an absolute lock to go to LA and play for the Lakers after this year, but I'm telling you, depending on how this year goes, if they have enough to take down the Warriors, as 32% of you say, how can you leave? So I think he's playing it right. I mean, you can't just pick up and leave. Now, I saw something about the NBA lottery changes that have occurred to stop the Sixers, pretty much the Sixers' lifestyle of tanking. Now, they switched the odds. The chances at the number one pick was previously 25%. They have now reduced that to 14%. The first, second, and third worst teams in the NBA now all have the same percent chance of 14. I like the move. Even though I'm a diehard Sixers fan, I love the move. Because it's not right, and that's the truth. It makes sense now, logical. Yes, you have to lose to suck and get yourself the next LeBron James, because in the NBA, one person matters, and it can change the whole entire franchise. It's just how it works when there's 5 guys on the basketball court. But you shouldn't be able to put out crap every single night, doing it on purpose, pretty much like we've been doing. We've not been hiding it. We're not just a bad team. We're putting out garbage every night. Not anymore. But we did. Trust in the process. And pretty much what they did from there was just split it up. 4, 5, 6, and 7 now also have higher odds. if you're in fourth place, you have a 12.5% chance to get the first overall pick. The fifth last place team gets a 10.5%. So pretty much they increase it by about 3% each after the first three. But the first three is huge. The first three is big. Everyone is even now. So it doesn't matter if you come in last place compared to third to last place. And I mean, the Sixers and the Nets will have the same amount of percent chance to grab the first pick in the draft, just basing it off of last year's numbers. But I have a basketball question from my boy X. So X, you are on Sports Talk with Brodes.
What's up, Brodes? It's X. Huge fan of the show. They've been doing a lot of talk about NBA lately, but after this crazy NBA offseason, what team are you most looking forward to watching this upcoming season?
Thanks for the call, X. Overall, I'm just excited for the whole entire season in general. I'm obviously very interested in what Golden State is going to put out in the regular season, considering what they have been doing the last two seasons is insane. Clearly, I'm ready to go with the whole LeBron situation in Cleveland. I really want to see my boys in Philly produce. I want to see Joel Embiid play. Apparently, he was cleared to play some sort of 3-on-3 or 5-on-5 mini basketball game. It wasn't the full-on clear, if I read that correctly. And to be honest with you, I am very interested in Lonzo Ball. I know people hate the Ball family, what they're doing. I did in the beginning. I thought it was actually insane and ridiculous, but I'm coming around to it. I kind of love it. I think it's funny. He's building a brand, and you know what? It's successful. He's building it successfully, whether you like it or not, whether you like the arrogance, whether you don't. The guy's doing something right. Big Baller brand is now a household name. LeVar Ball is now a household name. Lonzo Ball, even his son LaMelo, who news broke today that he is being withdrawn from school. He will now be homeschooled, and his father is going to coach him every day. Now, I promise you that is going to work out in his favor. He is going to put the work in. He sees what his brother Lonzo is doing, and he wants that. And he will get to that if he continues to work every single day with his father. I mean, I guarantee it. I can't imagine it not working out. If he is doing what he's saying every single day, he's going to work out 20 hours a day. I'm talking if he doesn't screw up outside of his game plan and his vision. He can't be getting off the court issues or anything like that. What I think is crazy is, I mean, I guess he obviously can't play high school basketball anymore. Not that that's probably a big deal. Never mind. They play AAU at this point. He is going to be solid just like his brother if he does this. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I can guarantee it if he stays on track and does what he needs to do, because he's seeing it. He's seeing his brother do it. He's got the mindset of it. He wants it. And he wants to do exactly what his brother's doing, and he's got the skill. For sure, he has the skill. But getting back to the question, obviously I named a couple teams, but I'm just excited for it all. I'm also excited for the Thunder. I'm just excited for it. The NBA has moved on to, it's like 1A NFL, 1B NBA for being full season all around the clock. Because once the regular season's done, you have the phenomenal playoffs, more like the phenomenal finals. Some of the playoffs can be boring, but once superstars start fading in different ways, it might change. After that, you have the draft, the free agency, the summer league to see what guys you have. And then now it is a little bit of a dead period, but it's coming back with some preseason hoops, which has started this past couple days. So it really is a full season of hoops, and it's not a bad thing. I love it. Now, I haven't done this. We are getting into the late days, actually the early days of October. We have the wild card game tomorrow. Well, it's 12:30 in the morning, so it's technically today, but we're going with still tomorrow. We have the Yankees Twins. And the odds from Vegas, like I say, they know everything. The spread is 7.5 runs for the Yankees. the Yankees are definitely going to win that baseball game. And the Diamondbacks and Rockies, which was like a 5.5 run favorite for the Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks are going to win. The Yankees are going to win. You have the Cubs, Nats. Now, I don't know if the Cubs have what it takes this year. That's going to be a great series. I'm just giving my predictions. I think the Nats are going to win that. The thing about the wild card game is it's one game. You really don't know. I mean, the Rockies can come out and play, but Greinke's on the mound, and that's scary to see. And the Diamondbacks are hot. And the only reason why they didn't win their division is because of what the Dodgers did in the middle of the season and that stretch. But I think the Yankees is a lock against the Twins. I saw stats about how many runs they put up the last few times they played each other, and the Yankees should have this baseball game. And like I said, with the Diamondbacks, they're really hot right now, and the Rockies kind of struggled late there, coming down the stretch. So those are my two predictions on that, but anything can happen with one game. Anything. The Cubs and Nats series, I think the Nats are going to finally pull through and beat the Cubs. The Cubs were not the same team as they were last year, but they still do know how to get it done. So it's so hard to pick these teams. It really is. But for some reason, I have the Nats. And then I have the Astros and the Red Sox. I don't think the Red Sox have what the Astros have. Houston is strong. They added Verlander. It's going to be tough. I'm so excited for this. And then you have Cleveland and the Dodgers awaiting their respected teams that they're going to play. It's just going to be awesome, and I'm pumped. It's finally here. Playoff baseball is finally here. And the last topics is a little bit of hockey. Because Wednesday night, we have hockey. And I'm in a little bit of a predicament because we're going to have a wild card game. We're going to have the Flyers' first regular season game, which starts at 10, by the way, because we're playing San Jose. I hate these West Coast trips. I feel like we did that last year, too. 10:30, yes. On NBC Sports, the Fly Guys play. That's not a predicament at all. That baseball game starts at 8. What am I saying, Brodes? Pay attention. But no, one of my big predicaments is I'm a Flyers fan, obviously. Big Flames fan, because my boy Johnny. Big Flames fan. What I liked about it in the past is the Flyers play at 7. Because we're on the East Coast. Flames play at 10, 10:30. You get a little back-to-back hockey. But now you got the Flames start at 10. The Flyers start at 10:30. Now what my game plan, obviously, is hopefully by the time the Flames and Oilers actually get to the first period intermission, the Fly Guys start. And it'll just flip-flop intermissions and periods. And that's really what I'm hoping for. But it's going to be great. The Jaromir Jagr signs with the Flames. Jagger's still playing. What? He signs a 1-year deal with the Flames. I can't believe somebody like this is still playing the sport. And if you look up his stats, I'm gonna look up his hockey DB real quick because I feel like it's ridiculous that he wasn't signed earlier. Because, you know what? Obviously his numbers are declining. But he still puts up a decent amount of points. And he's a veteran. He knows how to get it done. So last year with the Florida Panthers, in 82 games, the dude had 46 points. It's not like he's putting up 10. The year before that, 66 points in 79 games. So yeah, last year was a little bit of a funk, having 46 points in 82 games. But think about what you're saying right now. He brings a veteran leadership. You can trust the man out there on the ice. And he's going to give you 46 points. We'll see what he does this year, but I'm just saying. That's not bad. And for a veteran minimum, I'm curious to see what this man is going to do in Calgary. They got a good little squad going over there. It's not going to hurt the team. I can't believe no one else signed him. I really am. Am I ridiculous? Tell me. Tell me if I am. You can do it on social media at sportsandbrodes on Twitter. You can call into the show and tell me I'm crazy using your voice memo app on your phone and sending it to sportsandbrodes@gmail.com. Now, I can tell my voice is getting a little bit raspy. It's now 12:42. I have class at 8 a.m. I think I'm going to end this episode. I think I am. It's been a great episode, though. I think we had a lot of good topics. I thought I brought some energy to the table today. And I'm just excited to keep producing new episodes because I have a lot of fun doing this. And I am loving the support. I'm getting a great amount of support. I will have another episode out in the next couple days. We will talk about the MLB playoffs. We will talk about some hockey. Bring some hockey to the table. I can do that. I can definitely do that. So thank you so much for listening. I appreciate it. And I will see you guys next time. Hopefully I wake up for this 8 a.m.